Howdy folks, Matthew Yallett, traveling around the world, mostly on the seat of a recumbent trike as I wind my way through 100 countries from China all the way to the United States. In this case, in particular, the trike is in Phnom Penh, Cambodia, and I am in Siem Reap, checking out one of the most famous temples in all the world, Angkor Wat. Now we're at the Angkor Wat temple complex. The Angkor Wat complex is actually part of a larger community of temples that are all within this area of Siem Reap. Some of the largest temple complexes in the world, as a matter of fact. They are interesting, old, and in the process of attempting to be remodeled and brought back to life through modern means. You can see a lot of the stonework has patches, like concrete patches here and there, trying to make it sort of look like the way it used to look like, but in a lot of ways everything looks sort of patchwork now. They can't quite age the stone to match up with the aged look of the rest of the temple. I think most of this stuff is original, and you can see just an amazing amount of intricacy in all of the carvings and all of the elements. Just beautiful. Even the stonework on the pathway up to the main temple, you could see large stones carved flat for walking. I'm not sure if these holes here are original. They used to like actually carry the stones in. I wonder. I wonder. You would be hard-pressed to find any surface, outer surface of this temple untouched by an intricate design or pattern. Seems like thought went into almost every surface in this temple, from just the simple molding areas to the pillars here. Every single thing in this whole temple has some sort of story to tell via imagery or design. Really amazing. When you enter the ticket office, there is an enormous sign saying that drones, if flown, will be confiscated. No questions asked. So there will be no drone flying here at Angkor Wat. So we're just gonna have to take it in with our land-based eyes and enjoy it that way. Although it would have been nice to see it from the sky, right? Angkor Wat was built originally by the Khmer Kingdom quite some time ago, and it was built by a king who wanted to use the temple as a burial tomb when he passed away. Unfortunately, he was killed in battle, and from what I'm told, his body never made it here to serve the temple's original purpose. The amount of time and energy that went into carving this temple is quite incredible. Not only do you see stories told via the carvings on the wall, but even the roof you see stories carved into stone above. And the pillars here, even all over this temple, are carved with ornate patterns and pictures. Today is actually Monday. It's the day I normally film my live stream for my YouTube channel, and I was going to do it from here. The problem is, this whole place is pretty rock solid, like literally rock solid. and I kept dropping out of the live stream because I'd walk into one of these temple complexes and I'd lose signal. So I decided to instead stop the live stream and do an actual vlog so that I could actually walk you guys into the complex. I wouldn't drop out. And you know, every time you drop out with a live stream, you lose most of your people watching, and because they think you've ended it. This might be a much better way. And the complex is so huge. Like, we're gonna exit Angkor Wat, and then there's all sorts of other temple complexes that are also quite well known. I actually would naively thought that this whole area was Angkor Wat, but actually this temple complex is Angkor Wat, and the other ones have their own names and their own distinctions. So let's leave Angkor Wat and let's go to the next place. And I've got a taxi tuk-tuk driver waiting outside for me, and we'll move on to the next. Now my trike and everything is left in Phnom Penh. I came here by night bus to arrive at about 6 o'clock in the morning. The best time to see Siem Reap and all the Angkor temples is the morning, and we're sort of past that moment, but I've kind of embraced the morning a little bit. I left my trike in Phnom Penh, and I'm a little bit disappointed. I think it would have been nice to actually bring it here and drive it up and down the roads here that connect the different Angkor temple complexes together. Either way, you take what you can get, and we're going to enjoy the day looking at some of these temples, and then head back to Phnom Penh where we'll meet the trike, and then we'll cycle the southern coast of Cambodia, which is much more beautiful from what I've heard than this upper road that we use to get to the Siem Reap area here and all the temples. So I wanted to hit Angkor Wat because it's kind of like on the bucket list, but I also wanted a more substantial, beautiful ride through Cambodia. So I'm getting the best of both worlds by coming here and hitting Siem Reap by bus, going back to Phnom Penh, and then cycling the southern route of Cambodia on the trike. Now, this is the Bayan, which is like sort of the central complex inside of Siem Reap. And back in the Khmer Kingdom, like the 12th century, if you can rewind your human clock back that far, this was the largest city in the world in the 12th century. A lot has changed. Time changes everything. If you think about it, the fact that this was larger than the equivalent of New York City, if you were to, you know, put it in the terms of today, larger than Beijing, larger than the most populated city in the world today, this was that. Move the hands of that clock forward, 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 forward. Things decay, things fall into ruin. We have wars, we have strife, we have political instability, and empires fall and new empires rise in their place. You can see the manifestation of time when you walk around here. It's palpable. You can find these characters all throughout the temple complex. They're nicknamed fairies. They're kind of just happy-go-lucky characters that you find all over the place. Somebody had to carve these guys. I wonder if they had a sense of humor, the person that carved these things. I'm the fairy guy. You guys paint all the ornate stuff. I'm just gonna do the little dancers everywhere. Half-naked dancers. It's kind of amazing to think about whoever carved this, the people, the hands, were connected to people that had lives and families and lineage. It went forward, and as they went forward, it sort of dissolved. I mean, you don't meet people that are like, yeah, my grandpa was, you know, carved Angkor Thom, you know. But in the time that they carved this, imagine what they would think if they knew that I was walking here with this camera on a selfie stick and an iPhone in my pocket, and this whole place crumbled down to rubble. Next time you're in like the Capitol building in Washington, or you know, in downtown Shanghai, I wonder how many of those complexes will last 800 years in the future. and who might be walking around with a recording device trying to tell the tale, trying to put themselves inside my shoes, you know, in my time, but in the far, far-flung future. You know, maybe there'll be some implanted camera and they'll be recording through their eyes a story, and they'll say, there was once a man here. There was once a man that lived here during this time, our time. But that was 800 years ago. I imagine they had normal lives just like us, maybe just a little bit less advanced. What kind of advancements will be here in 800 years, you know? Will this place be here in 800 years and people looking back? I have a feeling that this place will still exist, and probably many of the places that we've built now will be long, long gone. Testament to the ingenuity of this time's people and the futility of the works that we create today, you know? We might feel like we're building some amazing structures, but I don't think they'll last as long as some of these temples here. These temples will outlast most of modern man's creations. That's pretty incredible. This place is kind of neat. You sort of have free reign. The whole place is opened up. I haven't seen very many, like, no entry signs. And it's sort of crumbling. I mean, if you look at the rock structures up here, they are sort of teetering on decay. Lots of faces on structures, lots of faces on pillars. One face facing every direction. But like this entryway, I don't know. I probably, if I ran this place, would say, I don't know if I want you guys walking around here. But lucky us, there's no sign. We can do whatever we want, explore wherever we want. How's it going, honey? How's your day at work? Pretty good. I finished the west wall in the east temple, which has been taking me about 4 years. Oh, that's great, baby. What would you like for dinner? Oh, honey, you know I like whatever you make. They gave me a promotion though. I'm lead carver on the 4th team. Really? That's great. Yeah, not so great. The previous lead carver died of exhaustion, so that's probably my my eventual end too. Oh, honey, don't say that. Things will all work out. Many Chinese tourists. It's funny to see all the Cambodian tour guides like speaking good Chinese. Chili, help you out. Choo 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 choo. Go 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 go. This is really pretty. Stand here. Put your hands this way. I know exactly what the Chinese. Do this.
Okay.
When the Khmer Empire fell, and the last remnants of the empire sort of got snuffed out due to history and war and whatever else happened, this was the last place, the last bastion of the Khmer Empire. So this is where the Khmer Empire breathed its last breath and then exited this world and passed on its temple to the historians to tell the tale. Now, if you're the type of person that enjoys a good temple, this is like you're heaven, because we drove here and we passed by temple after temple after temple. You could have stopped and roamed around a dozen locations on our way to get to this temple, which is the next big one on the list. So let's take a look. Whenever I walk through a place like this, a big temple or an old ancient building or something like that, I like to put it in the context of who I am today and thinking about what this was to the people that existed at the time. And unlike most of the temples or like the ancient structures I've visited, which are a lot, this one is like not just one complex, it's an entire series of ornate structures and buildings that cover a huge swath of land. Unlike maybe the one big temple that you see and you walk in and you explore, it's just a city of huge structures carved out of stone. Instead of maybe thinking of it as like a single church in the middle of a larger structure, I kind of think of this as the Washington, D.C. Mall, you know? You've got the Smithsonian, you've got the Capitol building, you've got the Lincoln Memorial, you've got, you know, the Science Museum, just everything kind of within a larger area. I walk through these places, I mean, there's huge. Look at the size of this tree here. It's been chopped off here at the top, but, you know, this tree might have been a sprouting along the time that this place was here. I don't know, it's pretty big. The structures themselves were all part of a huge complex. Like, I visited Angkor Wat first, and I could say, okay, you know, the Khmer Kingdom was the biggest in the 12th century, okay, but as you like look at the other structures, you can say, man, this culture had a foothold in that time period. I mean, they had this area was their version, as much as they could build at that time, of like New York City or like a major big area like Washington, D.C. Probably more Washington, D.C. because it was like the heart of the Khmer civilization. So you probably did have structures that were acting like the Capitol building, that were, you know, acting like, you know, historical areas. Even at the Angkor Wat building, there were libraries and places where archives were probably kept with history of the people and the places and the goings on of the Khmer Kingdom. But as time often does, it causes things to crumble. I imagine that all of this rubble continued this archway that probably spanned across this whole area and connected over here, but now it's all been crumbled. I wonder what caused this to crumble. You know, I wonder what it was that instigated all of this to fall. Must have been a pretty hefty earthquake or an amazing storm. But each of these stones are heavy, and I'm sure when they fitted together, they are quite a formidable foe to knock down. Actually, this is my Cambodia bucket list item. Typically, I have one thing in each country that is on the list of things that you need to do when you're there that kind of checks off that country's bucket list item. For Vietnam, it was the Son Doong Cave, and then I discovered a whole bunch of other stuff, obviously. But for Cambodia, it's Angkor Wat. So that leaves Cambodia open to any other number of unexpected bucket list item boxes to be checked. So I always look forward to stuff that I never looked forward to happening, you know. So let's see as we unravel Cambodia, what else will come out from under the covers.